This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
All right, so let's continue the conversation here on how many SEC teams could possibly make the SEC championship game. I think we're stuck around 10, which is where I said I was going to place the over-under. Some sticking points with South Carolina, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt. Those are the teams kind of on the edge of, I don't really think so, and a couple of maybes. Let's pit some of these teams against one another. Who you would like more, any chance to make Atlanta, Greg? South Carolina or Tennessee?
I go South Carolina.
South Carolina or Missouri?
Probably go Missouri there. Schedule's just a little bit lighter.
You can also keep both coordinators. I think that helps just a little bit. But South Carolina has a returning quarterback. That's a tough one. When you're weighing those against each other, who kind of has the best chance, the better opportunity, that one's difficult. Texas A&M or Auburn?
Auburn
or Florida?
Auburn A&M's a real toss-up.
It's close.
It's a real toss-up.
I feel like overall talent-wise, Auburn has a little bit of an edge. A&M not far behind. It's just I think at certain places you like Auburn's a little bit more, where their ceiling is mainly quarterback, wide receiver, but A&M's not like way behind.
I also think that Auburn's schedule is slightly more manageable than A&M's. I think A&M's schedule's tough.
Ole Miss or South Carolina?
I would say South Carolina.
Here's a good one for you. Better chance to make the SEC championship game in your opinion right now, Oklahoma or Auburn?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma or LSU?
LSU.
LSU or Alabama?
Alabama.
LSU or Georgia?
Georgia.
Okay. He joins us each and every week. Thanks to our friends at Coke and Piggly Wiggly. It's the coach, Wimp Sanderson. Coach, how we doing today?
Well, I'm doing okay. Not a lot to talk about. Everybody's all excited about what's going to happen. Both of you, Rick Newhouse didn't come to Alabama to see practice, but he has a writer who's not a sports writer. He's just a cotton-picking writer. Make the comment that the only reason the quarterback at Alabama Simpson was starting is because he waited his turn. From what I can gather, you don't do it like that. I mean, you're going to play against the defense to see who's not throwing at least. I just don't, and he makes a big deal out of this. Both of you comment about that. I just think that you got a new OC there, and so I just think that the two that are not starting may be more gifted athletically, but they're not starting. But I think Ty Simpson's starting because he did the best against defenses. Comment on that for me.
I don't think that any player anywhere is going to start for any team solely because they waited their turn. Now, are there some that will greatly benefit from that, as in they've been here, they know the system, and we don't have any other options? That's normally where I would point, Coach, because there might be guys who have been there long enough that they're the only ones that actually know where the play is going or who to cover on a certain play or which way is left and right in your outside zone scheme. So they're going to play. It doesn't make them the best player at their position in the league. It doesn't make them the most talented player in that position group. So I think you can greatly benefit from that, but I don't think there's a player in college football that the coach has said, you know what, he's been here 5 years. By golly, he's our starter. I just honestly, I think there's too much on the line for these coaches to do that.
Yeah. Well, I think the guy was writing the article because he wanted to stir up some stink because there's not much stink to stir up right now until they start playing. Any other thoughts on that? I haven't seen
the article. Who wrote it? What does the article say?
Some guy from it just says that Rick has said that the only reason basically, without saying exactly, he was starting because what the head coach said. He awaited his turn. He felt good about his mental attitude. He's hung around to wait his turn. His turn has come up. That kind of stuff. I didn't think it was very good. So,
well,
Greg, what do you think?
I've never been a coach, so I can't sit there and say that. But I have this weird fascination with people that are convinced that they don't play the best player. It's amazing to me how often fans think, "Oh, well, the coach is not playing the best player." Like the coach's job depends.
Like he doesn't have $10 million a year on the line.
Yeah, the coach's job depends on winning games and playing the best player. So and this comes up a lot, by the way.
Hold on one second, Greg. Coach, what was one thing on this earth that you like to do more than get money when you were coaching?
Win.
There you go. And every other coach would have said the exact same thing.
And how do you win, Coach?
I play the best. I play the ones I think are the best players.
Correct.
I don't want to play the ones I think might be good. I want to play with the best players.
Correct.
Be good.
And those goober mamas that call me up, I have the assistant coach talk to them.
That's the first time he's dropped Goober Mama on the show, Coach. I like that one.
I'm just amazed. Like there's a lot of very highly intelligent people that are convinced.
Right.
And no sports and no dynamics.
That's right.
You start playing guys that aren't the best player, you're going to have a revolt on your hands. Seriously.
Sure you are.
Like the players aren't dumb. Like they know who the best players are. You start playing the guy that's not best, and that even goes. And all the time we hear this, especially after a team loses 2 or 3 games. It's like, well, just pack it in.
Yeah.
Let's just play. Let's get ready for next year. Let's just play the young guys. That doesn't work. It doesn't happen that in real life.
Yeah. You two guys are geniuses when it comes to that. I love being on y'all's show for the 2 minutes I'm on there. Let me tell you,
Coach. You've never only been on the show for 2 minutes.
Why do you always act like we don't have you on very much?
Well, I listen to all that crap y'all talk about before I get on. The most important thing is to be ready to play come this Saturday when the open games start. Your team ready to play. And what you are mentally, I don't give a rat's rookie. If you look at the schedule and you're playing a team that's not in the top 50, you better be ready to play. Ohio State and Texas won't have any problem. They'll be ready to play. I want to be darn sure I beat the teams I'm supposed to beat, as well as the others as well. But the mental part of it, and you being ready to play and having your kids ready to play, is the most important thing. And you gotta mash your kids. I believe that with all my heart. You gotta work their tails off, and you gotta be ready with them. And they ain't gonna like it, but they gonna like it when it's over with. And I know I bring this to a personal thing. I had a kid named Hollywood Robinson, who was a terrific player, but I couldn't get that booger back. Yeah, he wouldn't. I couldn't get him the garden back, and I worked him till I worked his fanny off. And he texted me. He didn't like it at all. He hated me. When he got back, he texted me a note one time. He said, "Coach, that's the best thing ever happened to me. I made more money in pro basketball than I did because I've worked hard." Yesterday, because of some problems I've had losing my wife and so forth, he sent me a note, and at the end of the note, he said, "We love you." And to me, those kinds of things is what you do with your kids. I know I'm not talking much football now. I'm getting off from that, but it's what you do when you go through hard times. You got to get through them and look back on them and glad they happened. There's a football game between Florida State and Alabama. I'm switching over now. Florida State's got a lot of players, but they're all transfers. When you have a lot of transfers, to me, it's not easy to get them to play the way you want them to play at the beginning. Comments on that?
Yeah, because this, Coach, is not just football. There are some sports that can maybe have less of it. I believe baseball doesn't need as much. Certain positions do, but pitcher catcher does. Middle infield does. But continuity and chemistry is key in football. Think about all the different things that can change on a certain play in coverage or responsibility. Like, people hear fit the run. I don't think a lot of people understand what that means. Like, you have a designated area on the field that you have to be in because nobody else is most likely going to be there. And if you're not there and the run play goes there, that's how you see all of a sudden Kenyon Drake comes through untouched for 15 yards right up the middle. It's because one guy, two guys were not where they were supposed to be, and therefore there's a giant vacancy, and that goes there. Same thing with coverage. A lot of times it's not one guy that misses an assignment in blown coverage. A lot of times it's 2, 3, and therefore somebody's wide open. And if you can't communicate it, the one guy thinks it's the one coverage call, the other guy thinks it's the other coverage call, and so they're technically, in their minds, not even doing the wrong thing. Yeah. But they didn't communicate it, or they haven't done it enough together. Like, a lot of times a center guard can't hear the calls in a certain stadium, but they haven't operated against that look enough times together. They don't know that they're supposed to combo that D tackle on that play. So he runs free right up the middle, and he hits a quarterback in the face. That continuity is key.
I ain't trying to brown nose you, but I'm telling you right now, being an offensive lineman ain't no easy job. It's a booger bear job with no credit. It is a terribly hard job with no credit. Greg, anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the worst job you can have. But it's the most selfless, most important part of the team.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think it's a phenomenally great job because there's nothing quite like that dynamic, though, in that room. Like, it's just the best room because you have just a fascinating collection of individuals that are, and it's like there's like a checklist when you're putting your offensive line room together. You have an insecure guy, you have a tall, goofy guy, you have a huge redneck, you have a guy from the country. Like, it's like you have a funny guy, you have a guy that's always overweight.
There's always a super quiet, intimidating guy.
Yeah, there's always a guy that doesn't say a word the whole year.
Great today, boy.
Like the church mouse guy. You also have
there's one guy that thinks he can get away wearing bow ties.
Yes, there's one guy that's fancy that likes all the fancy stuff. There's it's just a hilarious group. But it's awesome. So I think the offensive line is, you do it for all the right reasons. Like, at the end of the day, I didn't play quarterback because of the glory that came with playing the position. I played quarterback because I was a good thrower and I like to play that. I like the challenge of playing against 11 guys. With an offensive line, you don't go into it like, oh, I'm not going to get the glory by playing this position. Like, you like to push people around. Like, you like to physically manhandle human beings. That's kind of cool. So I think it's different strokes for different folks. I don't know if you see it that way, Cole.
Yeah, sometimes you're just fat and can't play anything else. But
that's true. And sometimes you're skinny and slow and you play quarterback.
You two guys, I got you stirred up today. But, I get a call on my show about how you get ready. And I said, well, you get ready because Gus Malzahn is going to spend the whole summer looking at South Alabama's defense. That's how they get ready. That's what he's going to do. The new defensive coordinator at Florida State, Alabama, is going to take a look and see what he did at Nebraska, and they're going to spend months trying to see what he did against certain things. I don't know anything about any football, but I know enough to talk about getting ready. And so those are the kinds of things that make one team. But you've got to be, whatever you want to do the most, you do the best. If you want to tackle, if you want to do this, you want to win the game. If you don't give a rat's rookie about who you're playing, regardless of that's what makes you win. So
I don't think there's any doubt, Coach. And I think I go back to a quote. I remember I asked Takeo Spikes one time. I was like, "What makes you good at tackling?" And he said, "Want to." Yep. He said, "If you want to get that guy to the ground more so than he wants to get past you, you'll get him to the ground." Now, there are a million limbs off the trunk of that tree. Technique, fundamentals, angles, approach, leverage, all of it. And also, one of those limbs is who's carrying the football. Because Adrian Peterson's, a little bit different than Carl Stewart. I mean, it's the reality of what it is. So, but it goes back to want to, and I think you opened up a much bigger door there where the want to and the desire has shrunk a little bit. because not because people don't want it as much, but because of the fallout of when it doesn't happen is not as great as it used to be. Like we used to want to do things because we were terrified of what was on the other side of that. Like I wanted to prove people wrong, and I wanted to start, and I wanted to play football so bad because I knew what it was like to sit on the bench because I redshirted my freshman year and I watched everybody else play and I hated it. I don't know if that's evident anymore as much as it used to be. And so therefore the desire shrinks a little bit, or the want to shrinks a little bit, because you don't have the repercussions. Like I feel like a lot of people in the past had. Like a lot of times now, if they don't play, you're still getting $7,000 a month. Oh, and guess what I'm doing at the end of the year? I'm saving my red shirt year and I'm going to go play somewhere else. I didn't have that option. Greg didn't have that option. My options when I did that were like D3. Like that's where you transferred to when I played football because you didn't want to sit out. So you went like D2, D3, NAIA. That's what you did. I wasn't doing that. So you had to figure out a way to play. That's not what it is anymore.
Yeah, well, they were playing for $15 a month when I was coaching. That's what they got, $7.50 every 2 weeks.
Now they're playing. More than I got. I didn't get any money a month.
You got nothing?
I got a scholarship check, but I mean, I wouldn't pay. We were on quarter system when I got to Auburn, when I was able to move out. By the way, Rick Trickett didn't let us move out for 2.5 years. So I spent the first 2.5 years in the dorms.
Yeah, I know Rick.
So we stayed in the dorm. When I moved off campus, you get your scholarship check. We were on quarter system. That was 3 months. So whatever it was, $600. I think it was around 8 something total. I would go take that, and I had like $420 left for the quarter. And then I would say, all right, cable's going to cost me this, phone's going to cost me this, whatever. All right, there's another $186 that I need to know right now has got to go. And I would give that to the guy that handled all the bills. I'd be like, and if I owe you more, just tell me if it fluctuates, utilities. But like, here's the money for all. And I'm sitting there on like $328 for three and a half months.
Dating, did you? We can't talk about dating because your wife might be listening. You didn't do much dating, did you?
I didn't have a date until like 2010 when I was living in Huntsville.
I love that. Great. Well, I've stirred y'all up enough. I guess y'all want me to get on out of the way so y'all can talk to somebody who knows something about football.
That's always fun, Coach, and you're always joined every week. Thanks to our friends at Coke and Piggly Wiggly.
Well, Coke and Piggly Wiggly, outstanding. I'm having dinner. I had dinner several times with Stanley since I talked with y'all. Stanley Sigdale. Piggly Wiggly is outstanding. Walk in there and get anything that you need. Get a smile. Get the great food. They've got steaks. They've got whatever you might want in the way of vegetables, and you'll be darn sure it's fresh and ready to go. Coke is a great product. I talk about Coke. If you're looking for something this hot weather that you need to drink it, it's terrific. You can drink it any way you want to drink it, without sugar or with sugar. And Coca-Cola is great. I appreciate you guys having me on, and I was worried about the show going good. Y'all made the show good today. Appreciate y'all.
Well, we appreciate you, Coach. Always good stuff. Always fun having you. All right, bye-bye. All right, the Coach Wimp Sanderson joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. We will get back to some of your tweets, some of the things that you had to say on the other side of the break. Before we do that, Greg, and we move on, tell our friends about Crocker Moving Services.
Local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. Whether you need your whole home packed up and move, your company headquarters moved across country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room, these guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you purchased and need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's CrockerMovingServices.com. That's CrockerMovingServices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Services for your next move.
All right, we're going to have a little more conversation around SEC teams that could potentially find their way to Atlanta. And at 9:30, Mike Repole going to join the show. Billionaire, new partial owner of the UFL, Birmingham Stallions on the clock apparently. We'll have that discussion in 10 minutes next on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, and Three-Man Front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.